Look, and that's why we're doing a deep dive, to make sure, because a lot of people can say like, hey, I want a husband, I want to be married, and they're thinking glitz, glam, white dresses on the beach, big rings, and the assignment part, they completely missed. So it's important to do a deep dive, to study, to make sure, hey, like, a man finds a good wife, a man finds a wife, finds a good thing. Are you a good thing? Are you a wife? If not, how can you prepare yourself to be that good thing? And then, if not, maybe you might be a wife, and that's okay. You know, there were plenty of women who were not wives, because I asked that question too. I'm like, okay, so is everybody a wife? Because, you know, a lot of times we're like, yes, my man is out there for me. He's somewhere, and there's a good man for me coming, and I'm just waiting on the Lord. And the Lord might be saying, sis, you ain't no wife. You can't get found. It said a man find a wife, find a good thing. You're not a wife. People who find you put you back down where they found you, after playing with you a little bit. You know? So, let's go in a little bit deeper. I'm going to start this, and then we are going to finish it next week. Okay? So, what are the qualities of a good wife? Biblical qualities of a wife before marriage. Okay? Virtuous character. Okay? Proverbs 31:10-31. If you have not read it, I challenge you to go read it. If you've already read it, read it again. Proverbs 31. Summing it up, some points of qualities of a wife before marriage, or a good woman. A virtuous woman. Okay? She's rare and valuable. And when you're reading a Bible, I think it's important to pay attention to the terminology, because all of us think that we are good women. There's any woman that you ask, are you a good woman? I guarantee you 9.80754 times out of 10, she's going to tell you that she's a good woman. I'm a good woman, and I will be a good wife. And so I have the question too, is it possible for you to be a good person but not a good wife? That's a thing too. You can be a good person, you can be a great person, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you would be a good wife. Okay? And it says rare. If a virtuous woman is rare, everybody that think that they're a good woman and like, oh yeah, Proverbs 31 got it in the Instagram caption and bio and everything, somebody lying. The Bible said it's rare, so we can't all be, not all of us, right? A virtuous woman is rare and valuable. She works diligently, cares for her household, and makes wise decisions. All right? She works diligently. That reminds us again, even before it specified the wife part. We already working. We working. And I did some deep dive into on Proverbs 31 too, which we'll talk about that as well. Caring for her household. You can have your job, you can have your businesses, all of that, but your priority is making sure that your household, your kids, and your family is taken care of. Now, she does work, because I was like, okay, well, am I supposed to just be sitting in the house and just washing dishes? You know, I had to do the research because I wanted to know, because I'm like, this is a lot, right? I'm like, wait, so you mean to tell me? So no, that's not the case. It also specifically talks about, Proverbs 31 specifically talks about women going into the marketplace and doing things like that. And I'm gonna ask y'all this question, and this is just for our chat and outside Bible study. When you read Proverbs 31, and it talks about women and these little occasions of talking about women working, are y'all getting entrepreneurial vibes from it? Because I was like, okay, like this feels like an entrepreneur. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, and we can come talk about that too. But it does emphasize caring for her household. So one thing that I've been doing is, even with the business, I'm like, okay, I can work. I am not being out of the will of God by working, right? but making sure that my household is taken care of. So like the 10-minute thing that I told you guys earlier, like, okay, there's some dishes in the sink. Let me go ahead and knock this out. Let me do 10 minutes. I'm gonna do as much as I can in this 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna come back to work and try to get this work done. All right. It does not mean that you have to do one or the other, but it does mean that you should be caring for your household. And then it also says making wise decisions. The Bible says we can ask for wisdom freely and God will give it to us. So we got to make sure that we're making wise decisions, or we may not be the awesome woman that we thought that we were. All right. Another point, she fears the Lord and operates with wisdom. It's talking about that wisdom again. Several occasions in Proverbs 31, it talks about having wisdom. All right. When you have wisdom, you make better decisions for yourself, for your household, for your kids. And when it talks about fearing the Lord, it doesn't necessarily mean fear like, boo, oh my God. Fear as in a sense of respect, honor, okay? And y'all can dive deeper into that as well, getting the exact definition of fear as it relates to fearing God and what that means. So we're not to be afraid of God, right? To be, oh no, he's gonna come strike us down if we sin. No, that's not what it's saying. Okay? Submission to God before submitting to a husband. Ephesians 5:22. All right? Many women struggle with submission because they have not first learned to submit to God. So a lot of times when I see these things, because I'll be looking for it now, I'll be waiting for my comment. I'm like, how can I craft this? And they can't say I'm wrong because I'm pulling biblical scriptures. I ain't gonna lie, I'll be on there. I'll be looking for them. Oh, I submit to him when he get blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. You struggle with submission because you don't submit to God. How can you submit to a man or anybody else if you haven't first learned to submit to your creator, the person who created you in his image? Exactly, Akia. We make it conditional. But do you think first off, is God's love for us conditional? No. So our submission for him definitely shouldn't be conditional. And if we are taking that same thing and passing it down and say, okay, now I am in covenant with God, my husband, and myself. I now have a covenant. Then that submission shouldn't be conditional either. One thing before I even read this that I had started doing as part of the self-work, I'm like, even when I am pissed off or irritated, I am still going to do certain things. If I have planned to cook and I'm pissed off and irritated because he done said something, okay, let me still do that part. Let me still go ahead and I'm gonna make the best meal. Ooh, I'm about to cook. Even though I might want to feed you cold cereal or cold cereal hot milk, you know. Still making the effort to serve and to be submitted, even in those moments, right? If something happens and oh my gosh, you so cute. Y'all look. Ignore the bed. I gotta fold clothes. You see him over there?
Hey, baby lover.
You see him smiling?
Oh.
He's over there smiling. But yes, okay, back to it. He distracted me. I looked over there. He had him propped up. Okay, so ask yourself this. Are you yielding to God's leadership in your life right now? Are you yielding to God's leadership in your life right now? And if you're not yielding to God's leadership, imagine how much harder it's going to be to yield to a man. Especially if the mouth gets slick sometimes. And they telling you stuff and you like, oh, in your head you're like, he trying to control me. He won't let me wear my outfit. You know? All right, I'm going to hit this point. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll hold it off there. All right. So, peaceful spirit and emotional maturity. Proverbs 21:9. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than to be with a contentious woman. Read that again. It is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than to be with a contentious woman. Emotional intelligence is a must and necessary to build a home rather than to destroy it, right? The Bible is telling, say it again.
Can you repeat that point?
Peaceful spirit and emotional maturity. And the scripture that goes along with that is Proverbs 21:9. Fun fact, I think I might have told y'all this. Proverbs 31 particularly was written, or it came from, I don't know who wrote it, but it's a mother talking to her son that was a king. So I always thought it was like, hey, like this is God telling us what to do. No, it's actually a mother talking to her son. So when you're talking about a good woman and a wife and all of those things, it's a mother giving her son advice, and advice on his kingdom. Like, hey, and when she goes into some other stuff too, about drinking and all of that, but Proverbs 31 is particularly like, hey, this is how a woman can make or break your kingdom, which is deep. And that's why a lot of times it seems, when you read in Proverbs, it seems scattered, just like, oh, bar, but it don't really seem like it flows like into a story, but that's just literally mama's advice. Like, hey, this, and that, this can make or break you, you know. Even when it talks about drunkenness, like, hey, you get a little too loose, you might lose your kingdom, son. Fun fact. Now this one here, Proverbs 21:9, is so interesting because it's basically saying a lot of, like, I don't know if y'all feel this way, but it seems like a lot of men these days are choosing to just be single. They're like, oh, I don't have to get married. Like, what's the benefit? That kind of supports that. Like, if you have to be with a woman that is keeping up hell, you do better by yourself. Kind of supports that. So keep that in mind. I said this point, but I'm gonna read it again. Emotional intelligence is necessary to build a home rather than destroy it. All right. We know that a wise woman is building the house, right? Wise stewardship and resourcefulness. That's the next point. And that's Proverbs 31:16-17. Wise stewardship and resourcefulness. Proverbs 31:16-17. A wife should already be developing skills of her own, managing resources, finances, and a household before marriage. So this means even if you were single, you should be managing your household, right? We can't say, God, bring me a man and then I'm gonna clean the house. God, bring me a man and then I'm gonna start cooking. God, bring me a man and then I'm gonna start managing these finances better. Nope, the same thing that you should already be doing ahead of time. Remember the title that I told you from Myron Golden? Be a wife until a husband shows up. Not wait for a husband to show up and then we're gonna change and do all of the things, right? Should already be doing them. The next point is health and well-being. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. Y'all already know what I'm gonna say. Taking care of your mind, body, and spirit, right? And taking care of your mind, body, and spirit, it emphasizes that it's a sign of self-discipline and honor towards God. Okay? You want to honor God? Take care of your mind, body, and spirit. How are you stewarding your health? All right. So, quick discussion question before we head out. Which of these qualities, the ones that we just went over, do you feel like you're strong in, and where do you feel like you potentially need to grow? So I'll say the points again. Virtuous character. That verse was Proverbs 31:10-31. Submission to God before submission to a husband. Ephesians 5:22. Peaceful spirit and emotional maturity. Proverbs 21:9. Wise stewardship and resourcefulness. Proverbs 31:16-17. And health and well-being. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. Of those, which qualities do you feel like you're strong in, and where do you need